Welcome back to vidIQ, where today we are taking a look at your YouTube channels. We are going to be looking at your titles, your thumbnails, video packaging, and giving you some tips, some advice, some strategy so that you can dominate 2025 and grow on YouTube. The forms are down below. Be sure to fill those out. It's not too late to get your channel randomly selected. I am not here alone today. Joining us is Rob. How's it going, Rob?
First nervous moment of a live stream. Will my sound effects work? Yeah, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Hello, everybody. Day 4 of channel audits, appreciating you and your efforts on YouTube. We've probably already audited close to 100 channels. We'll add more to that today. Looking forward to some unique perspectives. We had April in on yesterday, Dan, with some really insightful stuff. And yeah, who have we got today?
Today's guest helping to audit your channels is the one and only David Altizer. Am I saying that right?
That's me. Yeah, David Altizer. What's up? Howdy from Nashville, Tennessee, everybody. That's why I got my camo hat on today.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Just before we get started, do you want to give everyone just like a little bit of background about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I started my career as a creative, as actually a magician of all things. I met Peter McKinnon when I was 21 at a magic conference before either one of us were involved in YouTube.
Wow.
It's a fun little factoid. I told him that last year, and he went like this. He was like, "Okay,
cool, whatever, bro."
Couldn't care less. I've been telling people this for years, all excited about it. I'm like, I can't wait to meet him and tell him in person. So disappointing. Anyways, and then I was a filmmaker in Nashville, like doing lots of music videos, shot weddings, so many different things. That was like 8-10 years of my life before I ever touched YouTube. I watched YouTube, but I was a kind of egotistical, creative filmmaker type that was like, oh, YouTube? Oh gosh, come on. Is that in a theater? Oh, no, I don't think so. But then Casey Neistat started posting his daily vlogs, and I saw something in him that I never saw before, which was he really was a triple threat of an incredible charismatic performer, an insane filmmaker and editor, and he did it all within the YouTube language. And he kind of created his own lane and showed me somebody who was, you know, a filmmaker and somebody who was a performer, because I was a magician for 6 years professionally. That's actually how I met my wife. I met my wife through magic.
That's awesome.
She was a hostess at a restaurant I was working at. But anyways, and I was like, wait a minute, I could do this. And so I started a YouTube channel because of Casey. I was so inspired by him. And then I met Tim Schmoyer, who is, I know, a part of the vidIQ team. And he kind of showed me the ropes, and I started a channel called Kinotika, reviewing camera gear. I did that for like 2 years, and then I got hired by Polar Pro to host a podcast called the Golden Hour Podcast. We had guests on like Matty Apoya and Gerald Undone, Armando Fira, all those types of like filmmaking type camera gear people. And then I got hired to host and be creative director at a channel called Indie Mogul, which is a huge filmmaking channel, over 1 million subs in Hollywood. And so I moved to LA and with my family, and I got a wife and kids and everything. And it was great. It was during COVID, and I'm from Tennessee. So being a Tennessee boy in Los Angeles during COVID was no fun with a wife and kids. So after about 6 months of working there, which was a total joy, and being at a stage where I was really seeing results from being a YouTuber for all these years and getting millions of views for the first time because of the scale of the channel. I was like, man, I don't know. I think the right thing for my family is to move home. So we moved back to Nashville, and then I didn't really know what to do. And I was talking to a friend. His name's John Owens, from a channel called Frame Voyager, a filmmaking essay channel. And we were just nerding out about thumbnails. And I was like, hey, I need money. I need work. I'm back home. Can I make a thumbnail for you? And for $200. And he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I did it. The video did well. He was like, hey, that's good. You want to do another one? And then I shared my work on Twitter, and my friend Hayden Hillier Smith, who many of your viewers may know, he's like one of the best editors on YouTube, if not the best. He hit me up and I started working with him with the editing podcast and his channel. And then the snowball just started happening, and Curtis Connor reached out, Max Fosh. Within a month, I went from like just being kind of whatever to a full-time thumbnail artist. And my first video that I made a thumbnail for Curtis got 2 million views and was number 3 on trending in the US. And then the first thumbnail I did for Max Fosh also got like 2 or 3 million views. So my credibility from the outside was like instantaneous. And so long story short, you know, a year later, I'm working with dozens of different creators getting millions of views. I think I tallied up all the views from just last year, and I did, you know, the thumbnails that I made garnered over 200 million views. So pretty just mind-blowing, to be honest, how quickly it all happened, but also so inspiring because I have no graphic design background. I just have all this experience as a filmmaker and this experience being a YouTuber. And because of the AI tools like generative fill, like Mid-Journey, I'm able to kind of shortcut my way into this industry, which for all the designers who've been doing thumbnails for 6-7 years now, who are like real, actual, have a degree in graphic design, they're mad. But like the cool thing is I can now blend objects. I can now remove things within seconds, and it's kind of amazing. And so I'm here to teach people you guys do such a good job teaching people on the psychology and why we should do a thumbnail a certain way. And I can certainly speak to my experience with that, but then also the how of like, how do we remove these objects? How should I clean it up? How should I blend the colors to have a little bit more simplicity in the color palette? And I don't know who's doing vidIQ's thumbnails at the moment. I think I know. I'm good friends within a lot of the thumbnail community. So I'm pretty sure I'm friends with the guy that does your thumbnails. So it's a small little community too on X. So for some reason, all of us hang out there. And so if you want to get involved in the thumbnail community, I host a space every Thursday night called Thumbnail Thursday. So I'll be doing that tonight.
David's website is linked down below, so you can easily go follow and join in on those. You also have a thumbnail course coming up soon, so folks can sign up for the wait list on that. So
it's free to sign up.
It's free to sign up for the wait list.
Everything starts off as free.
Was that a good summary? I don't know.
That was a great summary. So as all of you can tell, David's been doing this for a while, and we are very, very happy to have you here. You're going to see a very big mix of thumbnails today, David. There's going to be a lot to pick apart here, and we are going to get into it. So
let's go.
Welcome, everybody. Again, the forms are down below. All you have to do is fill these out. If you are a non-gaming channel, then fill out the first form of fill out the one labeled non-gaming. I think it's the second one in the description. If you're a gaming channel, video games specifically, fill out this form, please. We get a lot of you, so we kind of put you on a different form so that we can have a good, healthy mix of different types of channels. Those are down below. We're going to be picking them at random. The reason it's not too late is because today I'm using what we call the boring picker. It just looks at the number of numbers here and goes, pick whatever. So we are using the boring picker today, and that's why it doesn't matter when you submit. And we might also use a different way of picking folks later in the show. If you have questions about thumbnails and video packaging specifically, feel free to ask them with #question, and we might be grabbing those throughout the show, and we might take a break. I'm saying might a lot. We're going to take a break once in a while and answer your questions about thumbnails for David. So please take advantage of his expertise as he gives us his time. All right.
I was just going to add, let's keep the questions very thumbnail centric today, because we have the expertise in, and the TLDR of what I got there, David, is what I'm doing now is I'm mentally dragging all of my thumbnail strategy files in my head and then dumping them in the recycle bin, ready to like upload everything you're about to share with us.
Yes.
Great.
All right. So there's the rundown. I won't take any more of your time for now, and we'll get to our first channel. It's actually the first channel that's submitted on the non-gaming form. They're called Unboxbug, and they have a few different things to tell us about their channel. We asked them what the goal was for their channel. They want to create a unique unboxing experience for their audience. Their biggest obstacle right now, they feel like, is their hook and audience retention. And what do you want us to focus on as part of these audits? We might kind of fixate on your thumbnails. Of course, David's here, but they would also like us to take a look at their intros to see how we can make them more attention grabbing.
Yeah, I want to speak to that too. I do think that thumbnails and titles are not two separate things. I believe they are one. I think some of the best thumbnails almost don't even make sense without the title, and vice versa. That's not always the case. I think everything that we say all the time on vidIQ, or that I say, take with a grain of salt, because there's always exceptions to what we're saying. But some of the best thumbnails and titles kind of go together, and they tell a cohesive story together. So I am a big title nerd too. So we'll be talking about that too.
I love that you said that, because yes, I feel like I've been beating that drum for a long time, telling people like these two things can be friends. They can work together. I like to say, I don't know if you agree with this, David, but I like to say the content starts here. People haven't even clicked the video yet, and they're already starting to absorb what it's about. And
you hook them with most people, I think, maybe we should poll people. What do you look at first, the thumbnail or the title? But yeah, I think visually people are probably being pulled by the thumbnail first. You would guess, right?
I would think so. Vicky is in the background helping us out. Vicky, would you like to add a poll to the stream chat? Let's do that. That's I'm actually really interested to see what people say. So the channel we're looking at, it looks like they're focused on tech unboxings specifically. They have the new PS5 here, and
that's cool.
They've specified this is not the 30th anniversary edition, so it looks like this one's painted to look like the 30th anniversary edition, which is pretty interesting.
Like the silver gray effect on it. Okay.
Yeah. So I have thoughts when I see that. David, what do you think? Like just this latest video here from 2 hours ago.
Dan, you're a gamer person. Can you give me context to this product?
Oh, sure. Okay. So Sony released this PlayStation 5 Pro, and everyone got really mad because it's very expensive and kind of like not a very big upgrade. And then shortly after announced the PlayStation 30th anniversary edition, which is a PS Pro that has the coloring of a PlayStation 1 and theming of a PlayStation 1, just to kind of celebrate the 30th anniversary. And of course, scalpers jumped all over this, eBay listings everywhere, many, many more dollars than it's supposed to cost. So my assumption here is this particular YouTuber did not get the anniversary edition, but they did get a PS5 Pro, and
it had it custom painted.
Yes, they got it custom painted to look like the anniversary edition.
Yeah. So do you want me to get started then with that or?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see, like, when you see this, if you were scrolling around on YouTube now with that context, like what are your first thoughts?
So again, I'm just straight off the top of the dome here. So I would say with the title, you could do custom PS Pro, like 30th edition PS5 Pro, and then the thumbnail is him holding the thing with like a paintbrush. You know the what's his name that does the paintbrush with the purple paint coming off or whatever?
We all know who you mean, but can't remember the name.
So like something really clean. Like right now, the text with the two hands in the thumbnail, with the PS5 box in the back, with the other thing in the front. It's confusing to me. So, but just simply showing that you're holding a PS5 Pro and communicating with a paintbrush or something like that, that it's not, and then maybe the text that you have is very simple, and it does say like painted on or DIY version or something like that.
I made my own.
Yeah, made my own. So like if the title was a bit, you could argue clickbait of like, I got the PS5 Pro, what do you call it, 30th edition? I made my own 30th edition PS5 Pro. There you go. And then he's holding it and he's painting, and then it says like painted on, or something like that. And so by removing the word paint from the title and including the imagery of paint and maybe the text of DIY or paint or something in the thumbnail, that tells that story of like, I made my own PS5 Pro 30th edition or whatever you call it, and keeping it really clean. And then a really saturated, that's something I'm also seeing just in general. And this is just basic photography stuff that I'm seeing with all your thumbnails. there needs to be more brightness, there needs to be more saturation. Everything just feels a little desaturated and a little just dark. So just boost it. Although some of that stuff is pretty good. The wider stuff is pretty decent. A lot of the text I'm seeing there is too small. Like the Aino 2 unboxing, that one has a lot of logos that are just a little too cluttery. With the word unboxing, I don't think you need the word unboxings, especially because the name of the channel is unboxing. You don't need that in the thumbnail. It's just kind of rule of thumb, no pun intended, to not repeat words that are in the title as well. So if you're going to put unboxing in the title, then you know, you don't need to necessarily put it in the video, and also, or in the thumbnail. Also, AI, like YouTube is a giant robot, and it just really is really good at pulling tags from descriptions and from the video. So if you're saying the word unboxing in the video, if you have unboxing somewhere in the description, you can kind of tune your titles for just humans. Like, what's the cleanest, easiest way to describe what this is? You don't have to think about SEO of like, oh, I have to make sure I include the word unboxing in every title. First off, the name of the channel is Unbox Bug, so hopefully people will see that and be like, oh, it's an unboxing channel. And then if somewhere in the description, today I'm unboxing the MacBook Pro M4 Max, like if you put that in the description, YouTube's going to pull that as well if somebody were to search MacBook Pro unboxing. So you don't, that means you can be a little bit more creative and storytelling wise of like, is this the first Mac that you should upgrade from the M1, you know, question mark or something like that. I don't know, just having a little bit more value to add to it with some storytelling around the products could be good. Just because unboxing in general may not be enough to pull people in now. It used to be such a, like the unbox guy with the really big set, what's his name? Unbox Therapy, is that it?
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
Like he doesn't just unbox anymore. He really does do like a review of the thing. It's an unboxing, but it's more of a first look review. So the value add is like he's getting the product before everybody else and he's giving us a first look of it. So yes, it's unboxing, but like I guess 10 years ago, there was a niche of people literally just taking something out of a box and that was enough, you know. But I don't know if that's, I mean, that thumbnail is great. The ultimate AI tracker, it's so mysterious, like I have no idea what that is. That's what you want, like with, and look how clean it is. I think that also proves to what I've been telling a lot of my gear review friends. It's like, remove the text, remove things, just keep it really focused on the product, find something really interesting. And they've done a good job here of like almost all these images, like the smallest 4K POV camera, the 8K action camera. They're finding little accessories and things that are really unique and almost mysterious about like whatever the most interesting thing about that thing is, they're showcasing it. And you know, and they're keeping it very focused, very clean, no text, you know. That's cool. That's really cool. And I'd also say just in general too, like whatever everybody else is doing, if you do the opposite, that also makes you stand out. So like for me, when I was in gear review world, I just switched to shooting on camcorders, like old camcorders, and having thumbnails with no text on it. And just those two changes made my like Lumix gear review stand out, because I was the only one shooting on a crappy camera and I was the only one with no text in my thumbnails. So it's like I already had, like I literally had a whole unique look and aesthetic that made it like, because everybody is trying to make their stuff look as professional all the time, but it's like you can also be creative around that, you know, like Casey Neistat did. I mean, he was applying filmmaking techniques into a crappy vlog aesthetic, but underneath the layers of the crappiness was true filmmaking production, you know. Anyways, going on a tangent, but I'll let you guys go.
Oh no, you're good.
I wanted to extend on something that David pointed out, in that Unbox Therapy kind of invented this unboxing genre, but 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So it is already a well-established niche. and this creator is entering it almost like as a third or fourth generation unboxing channel. What I will say is I think that the execution is very high. Like the thumbnails are of a very good quality, and they've got this setup all beautifully lit. So I guess it comes down to, why should I watch this unboxing? Oh, did you see that? There's a
Yeah.
little bug there.
Yeah, this is really creative.
That was nice. That was a nice
like
little touch there.
So is he? Can you skip through? Is he actually in the video painting it? Because that's really interesting to me.
It does look like that's where it was going.
Because now we can title and thumbnail this around that. It's like how to paint your own, or how to make your own anniversary edition. You know, or anniversary edition too expensive ? Make your own ... And then the thumbnail.
That's cool.
And then the thumbnail has maybe even a before and after of like the original on, split down he could be holding it with the original on one half, and then the other one is the painted on, and then it says, paint. Maybe he's holding a paintbrush on the side. Anyways, my brain is going 1,000 miles an hour here, but that's an interesting take, because again, if you're addressing a pain point in people with the title, and they can say to themselves like, oh yeah, that is me, like, anniversary edition too expensive ? Yeah, it is. I don't want to buy one. That's the viewer speaking.
Yeah.
And make your own ... How to make your own. I made my own ... I made my own for $3, or whatever it is. Right.
Yeah.
And money, I can't tell you, like, I've worked with dozens and dozens of creators. Dollar signs, for some reason, like, within the right context, work. Like, if it's a very expensive thing, like I've worked with realtors, and like, just, I'm like, how much was that house that you sold? It was like $2 million. Okay, cool. Put that in the title. How I sold a $2 million house. Like, it's like, he's like, well, but there's so much more value to this than that for the real estate market that's going to watch this. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, you gotta, like, people will click on it because it says the word $2 million on it. So like, if you say too expensive ? I made one for $3, like, it's a nice contrast of like expensive, cheap, and then you're showing it finished, so you're proving that you did do it, so like all three of those elements, the proof in the thumbnail, the question with the response, it's telling this story. And then forget about unboxing, because this isn't an unboxing video. This is a DIY video.
It's a transformation video of sorts, isn't it? Just watching these bits, Dan, kind of reinforces what I think, in that it's super high quality, and it's actually a really good idea as well. I think the weak spot here is, if we just go back to the channel, is the pitch is just bland. Like, I'll take the iPhone 16 one as an example. I think that's like a nice thumbnail. It has a really nice contrasting teal colored iPhone. You have that jeopardy of a knife. Why they're holding that? Presumably it's to open a box, but maybe they're going to do a scratch test as well. But then when I look at the title, it's just I guess SEO rich. It's telling us the what, but not why should we care. What makes this interesting. So I think that's the one thing they're missing on this channel. They're that away from a viral video, and now you've just seen that the Switch 2 has been announced. That could be the one that could be their viral moment if they're able to get one on release day.
Or no, take what he just did here. Take a Switch and paint the Switch 2 logo on it. And I've seen some people even take like there's these Android tablets that are a little bit bigger than a Switch, and it's like, could you even emulate some Nintendo games and kind of make your own? I don't know. I made my own. Can't wait for Nintendo Switch 2. Made my own.
Yeah, 3D printed my own Switch 2.
Yeah,
I think I might do that actually now. Just find a model of it.
Yeah, you just put the old Switch inside of a 3D print to make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just.
I would almost say they're trying to get too much across with their overall channel. Like, they want to make sure people know this is a silent unboxing. This is ASMR. And I do feel like you're kind of limiting. I'm not interested in ASMR as a category on YouTube, but what you did here is interesting to me. and the ASMR stuff is kind of extra. It's kind of there, and
Mhm.
I don't really mind that it's there. It's not a bother,
It's a
but I
blend.
wonder if silent unboxing and ASMR and some of these titles are just going to make it, you're being too specific about, again, the what, but not the why.
Mm.
So I think we've given a lot of really good suggestions here as to how we can improve the packaging. They were worried about their hooks. The reason I clicked on the video is because I wanted to see, and as a
Yeah.
silent unboxing channel, what can you do about a hook? Well, they did a great job. It was funny. It was interesting. It caught
Yeah.
our attention right away. So I'm not going to sit here and say you should talk in your videos. That's not the point. I think you did a great job, and they look professional. It
Well,
is for
to
me.
have
It's packaging.
the mindset to even come up with custom painting a PS5 Pro, he's got the right, like,
Yeah.
mindset,
Yeah.
because that's a great idea. It
Yeah,
really is.
it
So do
is.
that again for other things. Like, and you don't have to buy new things. I think that's the other thing too is, think about, cheap older things too, like, old retro consoles, or old retro even phones, like take the original iPhone and do something interesting with that. Or iPods are having kind of a interesting comeback, like converting an old iPod to an SSD iPod. And just get creative with older things. That way it's also approachable for, first off, for you to get a hold of it. It's one thing to get access to new products like Unbox Therapy, but of course he's going to get access to it because he's the biggest channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, like, what can you do? You can do all these cool little niche things and all these interesting little doohickeys that came out 20 years ago. How can you do something interesting with that?
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was a challenge for the creator, because they have their cadence is quite uh, unbalanced. Like the 3 months ago, 3 hours ago, 1 month, 3 months, 3 months, 8 months. So I guess they're only able to record the new tech that they're getting hold of. So maybe the opportunity to do either retro tech or nostalgic or
Mhm.
something just crazy and different and new
Yeah.
to do more content.
Or yeah, because he's not going to be getting the newest thing right away. So,
Yeah.
he's going to be having to pre-order it and get it. So yeah, so to fill in those gaps, find older things or more interesting, accessible things. But also, if there is something wrong with a new product, like that can be your angle of, like, if the new Google Pixel comes out and there's like one weird thing about it, and all the reviewers talk about it, by the time you pre-order it and get it, say I fixed the Google Pixel, or
Yeah.
whatever that trending newsworthy thing is that's wrong with the new thing, that gives you a unique angle to take, because you're going to be 2 months later than MKBHD anyways. So
Yeah.
how do you do something different 2 months later that actually adds value to people who are in the market for that product? It's like, oh, I was going to buy it, I was hesitating because this one issue with it, but oh, he has a fix for it. That's interesting. Okay, now I'll buy it and use his affiliate link, and buy the Amazon doohickey that fixes the problem.
Yeah. A lot of really good ideas here for Unbox Bug. Best of luck to you. We're going to move on to our next channel, but real quick, I want to let you all know right now we are running our promotion for 25% on off of vidIQ forever. So if
Wow,
you were interested in this, the link is down below.
I'm
And
interested. I want that. Daggone, that's a good deal.
yeah, so yeah, 25% off our boost plan forever. So again, link below. Click the clicker for more details, and good luck in 2025. We'll be running this throughout the week.
Well done. Good luck if you do not invest in our tools. If you don't need luck, if
Yeah.
you're getting 25% off all of our
That's
tools.
true. That's true.
And just think about that, folks. Think about that.
The next channel we're taking a look at is Z Joey 10. They have 1,000 subscribers. They are a gaming channel with 130 videos, and they did leave us some notes on their gaming forum here. They want to get upgrade their editing and get their viewers' attention. They would like the algorithm to recommend their videos, and they want us to focus on their videos and streams. So not shorts, basically.
Sounds like everything to me.
Yep. So hey, I'll take one of everything, please. I will say right off the bat, I'm seeing a lot of different games, and not really sure. I always kind of like get fixated on this. I'm not really sure what I'm going to get if I subscribe, because it kind of feels like we're kind of playing a lot of stuff. Like Minecraft feels a lot different than, I don't know what this game is, honestly.
Oh, I thought that was
Geometry Dash?
Geometry Dash.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one's Geometry Dash for sure. So this might also be Geometry Dash.
I think
just
the
looks a little
top
different.
row are all Geometry Dash. But I think the
Also notice how short those videos are. Some of those 30
yeah.
seconds. Like what's
Yeah.
that about?
True. That is interesting. Like Geometry Dash has its first gold key. It feels as though this is kind of maybe a big update or something. And I feel like you could probably make a longer video explaining what this is and why it's exciting.
Yeah.
And
Would you
That got
guys
700 views as well. That's an outlier, I think, for the channel. A little
Yeah.
bit.
I would ask you guys, would you recommend a 30-second update video like that just be a short, or like obviously like you said it has 700 views, so there are people who I mean, I even as a consumer of YouTube will sometimes see a 1-minute video that grabs my attention. Often it's a comedian who maybe has like a really short sketch or something. You know, filmmakers be like ... and then it's like a silly thing, and it's a normal video, but it's horizontal and it's 1 minute. Like there is still a very small niche that kind of works, but first off, you're not going to make any any money in ad revenue from that. And then should you just be that person that only does 30-second 1-minute skits and shorts at that point and not mix and match? You know, he's kind of doing everything here. So I'm actually asking you guys, like, what would your advice be to him? Because he or her, actually, we're not sure, but yeah, because that is a little, like, I usually try to advise people to make, you know, at least 5 to 8 minute long videos usually, you know, for long
I
form.
think shorts, or the extension of shorts to 3 minutes, has really skewed my opinion on this at the moment. So I'm currently going for this 90-second break, whereby if it's under 90 seconds, you may want to consider it being a short. If it's longer than 90 seconds, then it's probably more suited to be a long form piece of content, even though you could make it a short. You know, there's the argument from the other side that, you know, 2 minute short may get you 1 million views, but you'll earn $10 from it. So I think updates are a tricky one because you tend to just want the information and move on. But I certainly agree that there's more to be said about a new feature in a very popular game in 40 seconds, in my opinion.
It does feel like there would be more to sink your teeth into there. I don't play this game, so I guess I can't say for sure, but it just feels short. I've seen people do speculation and update videos on all kinds of games, whether or not there actually is an update or a reason to speculate. So I feel like if they can do that, you can definitely fill more time. And we're kind of like focusing on the length of that video because it is an outlier for you. And could it have gone even further had you given some more of your opinion and thoughts and things like that? I think because one of the things they want is the algorithm to recommend their videos. I don't know what's going on exactly, but I've seen something about a Minecraft lawsuit. Someone is suing the company that makes Minecraft. I'm not sure what's going on there, but it looks like you're talking about it. And the question you're asking in this title is, when will the Minecraft lawsuit change gaming forever? Which is a weird way to ask that. Like, it's this assumption that the lawsuit is going to go through and they won't settle out of court and it's going to change something. Like, there's already a lot being assumed with that title. And then I don't know, the thumbnail is kind of suggestive of like, okay, well, Minecraft is going to be over. I think the better question to ask that would be more relevant for the conversation would be, will the Minecraft lawsuit change gaming forever? And that one word added enough confusion for me where I think if I saw this as I'm scrolling through YouTube, I'd be thinking about it too much and not clicking on your video to get the answers. And I don't like that. I don't like viewers in a position where they're overthinking what you mean by your packaging and spending that time rather than clicking on it and getting whatever information you're trying to give them. So I'm just picking on that specific video.
I will say, Dan, I think that's one of the better thumbnails on a channel because it brings out a certain emotion in me. Like, oh, there's danger, there's jeopardy here. What, Minecraft's about to be banned, or like I'm not going to be able to play it again? And putting it in the Minecraft scene is cool as well. I don't necessarily agree with the text and the orange text on red background. I think there's some topography issues that need to be fixed there. But I like the imagery there. That's, I would say, one of the best thumbnails I can see on the canvas that we're looking at.
I think that's why my attention was drawn to it, because I like the thumbnail, but the title immediately confused me.
I think this is, so I'm just going to make an assumption that this might be a young person who's getting started. And I think what they're doing and if you're not, I apologize, but just in general, it does seem like you're trying to figure it out. And so I want to just give you a thumbs up for A for effort, because one of the biggest hurdles for creators is is that him?
No, this is
Okay.
somebody else.
Okay, sorry. I'm so not
That's
in.
Nick Avocado.
There's so many.
post
Oh
bio.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. There's so many niches on YouTube. That's why they can't do YouTube Rewind anymore, because it's like we all live in different silos on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is basically second to Google, so it's like the internet is just YouTube now. So like, there's so many famous people that I don't even know. But anyways, like, so many creators just get hung up on like thinking about. I have so many friends, you know, just like actual real life friends, people I go to church with, or neighbors who like, yeah, I want to get started on YouTube. What camera should I get? I'm thinking about this. Here's an idea I have. I'm like, dude, we've been talking for 4 months about all these ideas, and you haven't made a single video.
Yeah.
Like, just stop asking me about what camera to get. Just shoot it on your phone. Just put something out there, and like, A for effort for this guy for like just getting it out there and clearly experimenting with different types of content. So, but now it looks like 130 videos, 1,000 subscribers. Okay, let's dial in on something. Like, pick what you like. I feel like at this point you may have an idea of what you do like. Forget all the metrics at this point. I think like if something works that you do like, let's go for it. But what do you guys think of that? Like, what should he be focusing on moving forward? Because I think it's one thing to look at this and say, okay, there's too much text. Things are a little bit too small. I can get into the nitpicks of like the thumbnails here for sure. But I think just in general, he needs to pick something like a lane and just go for it.
Yeah.
Because it looks like you've been experimenting with a lot of things. Now pick something.
Yes, absolutely. These last 2 videos are where I would be taking the most notes. That I would put my attention on, like, something you are doing here is working very well compared to the things you've been doing over the last month or so. And I would be completely focused on whatever this is. I don't think this means you are forever a Geometry Dash channel. Like, absolutely not. I think you learn from this, you double down on it for a bit, and you're going to learn a lot about YouTube and thumbnails and titles and themes and everything. And that's when you can start to branch out. But I really, really love, especially with gaming, but any segment of YouTube, I really love it when people focus on like one thing for a while just to try to get their reps in. And what's nice about focusing on one thing is that tends to snowball into success pretty quickly, because it's a smaller total addressable market, but it's one that starts to, you know, gravitate towards your channel pretty quickly, as long as you are, you know, being original and bringing value. And that success you get from that is this like really big dopamine hit, you know. And that what I like about that is it frees your mind to learn the lessons you need to learn. But if you're constantly putting out videos and you're like, the last one only got 10 views, I'm so upset, you're now in this negative headspace, and it's harder to learn the lessons you need to learn to make the better content for the future. So allow yourself to just kind of like focus on this for a little while and get some wins under your belt, and then branch out from there.
Totally.
So,
I think was it Sean Cannell says there's riches in the niches.
Yeah.
And you can, what's cool about niching down is you can focus on one type of audience or one game or something like that, and then as you gain, you know, you might even get to a point where you sort of plateau and you kind of have almost exhausted that niche. Then that's the time to start expanding and adding other things to it. There's a creator named Oompaville, I think, or Oompaville, the guy that interviewed Mr. Beast recently. He has a mustache. He's really funny. He was like reacting to a lot of like YouTube drama, and now he's starting to expand out to like other things. Like he did a whole breakdown on the Ark of the Covenant, like, and talking about, he's like, one of my favorite movies is Indiana Jones. Like, what does the Bible say about the Ark of the Covenant? And then what do, you know, historians and archaeologists think about it? He's like, this is not YouTube drama, but I'm editing and making this just like all my other videos. I find this fascinating. I think you'll enjoy it too. And it's like, that's him starting to expand outside of his niche, but also doing it in his own way. And he might lose some people who aren't interested in that, but he might also gain new people. In fact, I'm one of his new fans because I saw that video and found it really entertaining. And so now I'm like a fan of his content. And that was a type of content he was never doing, but he's now got the audience to start expanding, you know?
I know someone just asked about, like, are you worried about losing audience when you shift topics? And there will be a bit of a trade-off, but if you're passionate about the next thing you're talking about, then not really, because you're kind of
Mhm.
opening the door for new people to find you, and you're also not pinning yourself down in one thing where you might like. I've done a number of channels, and part of the reason I test different channels because my interests keep shifting as I get older. So it's important to allow yourself to shift. It's great if you can pivot slowly into something else that is similar to what you're doing but slightly different. But if it means a hard pivot, it's better to prioritize your mental health as a creator than it is to keep doing the same thing if you're not enjoying it as much. So, let's move on to some questions. We got a whole bunch of questions. I want to get through these, and then we'll get back to channels. We're going to be randomly selecting your channels next time we get back to that. So, thank you, Victoria. I see we have some supers, and we're also starring some questions. So, first of all, quick welcome to our new member, Mystery Master 3. Thank you for becoming a member on our YouTube channel. We have the Watchdog who gives us a super sticker. Thank you so much. Jumping ahead to Echolas, who gave us a super chat and asked us to review them. We will not be doing that over super chat, but we appreciate your super chat. We can't put a financial barrier on these, otherwise everyone will just be sitting here while the super chatters
Well,
get their channels reviewed.
We'd be
That's a lot of
rich
money.
and we would have retired like many years ago if we'd done that.
True.
Ecolist, if you want to hit me up on Twitter at DVD Altizer, I'll help you out.
There you go.
There you go.
No, you do now realize you're going to get 50 super chats of $1 each saying, David, can you please order my channel as well? Just fair warning. Fair warning.
Like I said, I'll be hosting Thumbnail Thursday tonight. It's a live Twitter space.
That's where you're going to funnel them all in.
So yeah, me and a couple other designers will do that, and we do thumbnail audits at the end of our discussion. So join us tonight, Thumbnail Thursday.
There you go. So, should thumbnails, logos, and social media posts / accounts all have a matching theme? Interesting question.
My quick thought is the first channel we audited, which was Unbox Bug, that was themed and branded without any logos, in my opinion. So you could tell that it was from that creator without the need for logos. So when you're able to do that, that is like the chef's kiss, the superpower of branding.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say in relation to that question too, like social media, everybody really lives in their little preferred social media app. Like my wife will watch YouTube videos, but she discovers them on Facebook as Facebook videos because for some reason she prefers to watch videos on Facebook. And I'm like, we pay for premium and you're watching an ad on Facebook. Why are you doing this? Because Facebook forces you to watch an ad. You can't skip it, and it's like, but it's just, I can't argue with her. Like it's her preferred, it's her preferred thing. Right. And so I would just say whatever social media accounts you're also active in, just do what's native to that and don't try to repurpose things. For example, a 16:9 thumbnail, if you were to post that on Instagram and say, I have a new video up, here's, it's called this, and you just reuse your thumbnail on Instagram, it's either going to crop it into a square and then it's cutting off the sides, or if you do upload it as a 16:9, that is not a native image size for Instagram. It's just too small because Instagram is a vertical only feed. And when you're scrolling, it's just this tiny little sliver. So I've even with other creators done custom 4x5, like posters. And that's even a whole thing. If you look at, what's the British squad of YouTubers called? The Sidemen, yes. They check out Sidemen's Twitter and Instagram accounts and look at when they do their live streams. They have guys that are designing custom posters, like movie posters, and that is basically a thumbnail, but it's native to Twitter or Instagram, which is a vertical image. So that's my note to that: is if you're trying to post on other platforms, think about, okay, what is the best type of image or thing for this platform, and reformat for that. If you use Adobe Photoshop, generative fill is the easiest way to cheat this. So you spend all your time making your thumbnail for YouTube because that's your primary maybe, especially if you're watching this on YouTube with vidIQ, you're probably mostly a YouTuber, but you want to repurpose your thumbnail for an Instagram post. Well, you pull that into a square, you know, a square image in Photoshop. You stick your 16:9 in the middle, and then you just use generative fill to expand that image out to make it taller, you know.
Yeah.
And then
I'm going to try that right now in the background. I'm going to see what happens.
And it took you like
'Cause
2
this is
seconds.
like, this is a light bulb moment for me if this actually works.
Yeah. And so it might it might look a little wonky or weird, but I've used that quite a bit for square to convert a 16:9 image to a vertical.
Yeah. Rob, actually, can I pass the controls to you for like 2 minutes?
2
sorry.
minutes. All right.
Yes. Apologies.
The Photoshop will have to wait.
Yes.
Then. So
interrupted
the
your Photoshop.
next question comes from Tiny Tellers Adventures, and they ask, "What do you do then if you hit thumbnail creative block when you create content that's hard to make a thumbnail for, as I'm struggling a lot with?"
Can I take that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So as you can imagine, I'm making 3 or 4 thumbnails a day, you know, as a professional thumbnail artist for a variety of different channels and creators. So I definitely deal with creators block, I guess you could say, of like, I have an idea, I have some assets, and I'm like, what do I do here? That is where outlier tools come into play. vidIQ has a wonderful tool. Do you guys call it outliers?
We do, yes.
Okay, because there's many other products out there, view stats from Mr. Beast's team, and then 1 of 10. They're all kind of the same. So if you want to, you know, I have the benefit of having access to all 3, and so I've actually tested all 3, and I've noticed that all 3 are accurate. Like, you type in a term, all 3 of them are working correctly. Like, you see kind of the same outliers on all 3 tools. I'm friends with Chucky from ViewStats. I'm friends with the guys at 1 of 10. I'm friends with the vidIQ team. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I'm saying this not being paid by anybody, that you can trust that these tools are working regardless of which one you pick. The fact that vidIQ includes it with their membership with other tools is kind of a, you know, from a saving your money standpoint, it makes sense in some regards. Anyways, if you're feeling creative blockage with thumbnails, go on an outlier tool on vidIQ and search for whatever niche you're in or whatever topic you're working on, and just experiment with different types of searches too. Because if you just type, you know, let's say you're a basketball reviewer, or you're talking about basketball, if you just type basketball, you might see a lot of different things.
When I did more views, I thought this was a really intriguing, some slightly different type of thumbnail to anything else that I can see. Like, oh, yeah, that just gave me like an interesting despair, joy moment. It's a slight variation on the classical half by half thumbnail.
Totally.
But we'll try basketball as well and see what comes up.
I haven't seen somebody use a stick figure.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's a really good idea. So that's the thing, is like, it gives you, but like, I'm using this as an example, as maybe this is too broad, because you've got a mixture of, I'm just trying to teach you guys how to use these tools effectively. You can see you've got NBA mobile app, you've got Roblox, and then you've got actual real NBA. So it's all mixed in. So that's why when you're searching for things, you want to be a little bit more specific. But like we just did just there, where Rob was showing us the stick figure thing, that gave us an idea of like, okay, if we're doing bad versus good, I like having that stick figure. That's cool, because it really conveys emotion, which a red arrow down and a green arrow up is just not conveying that human emotion that those stick figures are showing us. So also, you got to be careful too with the outlier tools, because a lot of times things are skewed by newsworthy things. So something that is like, for example, the LA fires, if you were to search that, you're going to find thumbnails and titles that are just not good, but it's simply a very important video that people are watching for the sake of news. So take that into consideration, especially with like when we're looking at NBA stuff here. A lot of this is just newsworthy outliers. And then I'm not sure if any of these tools are taking into account if a video has been run as an ad. I think it's very hard for the AI of these
Yeah, it would
outliers
be.
to
Yeah.
know, unless you had YouTube's like explicit access to that information, which you don't. So you have to take that with a grain of salt too. Like, for example, I was working for somebody that was doing some content around Nintendo. And so I searched like Nintendo, and the top video is 2019 Black Friday sale, or something. Well, it wasn't Switch 2. It was just, I think I just typed Nintendo.
I was just curious what came up if I did a search for it.
Yeah.
There's
So-
nothing from today yet.
So like the number one outlier was Black Friday sale. And it's like, well, obviously Nintendo ran that as an ad in front of millions of videos. So that's
Yeah.
why it has 10 million views. It's like, it's not a good video at all. It's just an ad. So take that into consideration. And then there's the filters there too. So, but yeah, to answer Tiny Tellers, use these outlier tools for creative inspiration. Do you guys have a way to save a thumbnail that inspires you and put it on like a board or something, or like an inspiration board? If not, I would recommend just screenshotting images and thumbnails that you like and put it in like I have an Apple Note. I'm a Mac user. So I have an Apple Note that's pinned on my computer, just called thumbnail inspiration. And when I'm on YouTube, I see a thumbnail that I like, I screenshot it. If I'm on these outlier tools, I see one I like, I screenshot it and save it. And it's always a good place to go back when you're having that creative blockage and kind of be inspired by thumbnails that captivated you and that worked.
Welcome back, Dan.
Welcome back, me. Thumbnails they tend to be so dumb nowadays that I barely care about the stupid facial emotions, ideas stolen from each other, the parade of stupidity, even on good videos. Not really a question. Just
I've got a sound effect for that.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
I can speak to this because I came from this kind of filmmaking background that was a little bit pretentious. Nick, YouTube is the future. It's growing. It's already overtaken Netflix. If you look at the views on the Super Bowl and compare it to the latest video from Mr. Beast, he has more views than the Super Bowl. Okay. YouTube is the future. It is growing. There's nothing you can do about it. You can be a cynical old man about it if you want. That's fine. We are going to continue to optimize and grow it. I want you to remove that ego and look at it objectively and think, okay, if you like, let's say maybe you're a really good artist or a filmmaker or a photographer. And so you have taste, you have creative taste. And when you see the things that are getting 100 million views creatively and objectively, you can say, well, this is bad. Well, you need to just really try to remove that creative ego aside and think objectively, why is this working? Who's the audience too? Is it kids? Because kids respond differently than adults. Very saturated colors tend to attract children. There's many creators. Dodford is the first that comes to mind. I've actually worked with him and consulted with him on his thumbnails. He is a full and complete and total artist, like top to bottom. And he only wants to make thumbnails that have artistic integrity, but also work. So he's wrestling with that. Check out Dodford, Dodford. He wrestles with what works on YouTube and what he wants to do as an artist. That's always going to be a struggle. Casey Neistat, I know he never even thought about thumbnails. He just made daily videos. He didn't even care because at a certain point, people got addicted to watching him, and they, regardless of the thumbnail, they would just watch it. So in modern YouTube, Casey's latest videos have struggled because he doesn't understand the YouTube title combo. I think things that Ryan Trahan is doing is very artistic and formulaic. It may have the appearance of low production and crappiness, but that's intentional to feel authentic and just more relatable. But it's extremely thought out. He has a team of people. He has I forget what he calls it, but he has a team of guys that are in a private Discord. And before he ever even makes a video, he has a team of guys that come up with a concept, and they make multiple versions of the thumbnail, multiple versions of the title, before he even shoots the video, before he even decides he's going to do it. And then once he comes up with a title and thumbnail that he likes, then he goes and executes the video. And often he'll have 6 or 7 versions of the thumbnail. Now you may look at it as an artist and be like, graphic design wise, this is really simple and he's using basic fonts and stylistically it doesn't look good, but there is so much intentionality and focus on it. To just throw it away and say it's dumb is just ignorant. So I would just encourage you to check your ego at the door. If you're truly an artist and a professional, look at it with that eye and that mindset and be like, you know what? This is obviously working. Why?
Nick does have a question. It was that I saw it after we clicked that one. I'm kind of wondering if the first one was started by accident, but the question, this is kind of interesting. So generally, and we give this advice a lot, the text on your thumbnail doesn't really need to match the title. And the reason we think that is because these two things are going to be seen together, and so it's kind of, we call it wasted real estate. But Nick is arguing that for particular niches, I guess for his specifically, this is kind of like a regularly accepted practice.
Sure.
So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like we said at the beginning, there's always kind of exceptions to the rule. But I would also just argue, like, I don't know the full context here either, but you know, you can still, if are you getting millions of views right now? Like, if not, if it's working in a niche and other people are doing in that niche, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right and best way to do it. So just experiment and try other things. I don't know. It goes back to what we were talking about. The title and thumbnail are not two separate entities. They are one story being told together, that ideally. So that's why we don't want to repeat the thing. Cause like if you bought a t-shirt with a statement, why would it have a statement with an image and a logo with the same statement on it? You know, like that, it's the same t-shirt with the same piece of art on it. Why would you repeat yourself on just one image? So you got to think about, the title and thumbnail are just one thing. You wouldn't repeat the title of a movie poster, like the movie and the poster and the state, like you just wouldn't do that for anything else. So that's why.
I think it can depend on intent of the viewer. Let's say how to tie a tie.
Mhm.
If it just says how to tie a tie with you in the middle of tying a tie on the thumbnail, I think that's appropriate. But if it's like something a bit more aspirational, like if you know how to tie a tie, then you'll look more professional and you'll get that job and you'll earn more money. That might be more of a search, like a aspirational browse-based piece of content, and that's where you might want to have the text say something a little bit different than how to tie a tie. So you got to really think about the viewer intent as well.
Yeah, but even with how to, like we're looking at if you look at the polls right now, I took a look at the chat here, and it looks like most people view the thumbnail first. So for a how-to video, like I shaved my my beard yesterday and have this nice mustache. So I wanted to watch a how-to video on how to how to shave, because I've been using a freaking electric beard thing for years. I haven't shaved with a razor in forever. And so how to shave, you could do how to on the thumbnail, but then the title is shave like a real man. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
you don't have to have, even with that, like I think because I'm seeing the thumbnail first, if you have a nice bold how to and then it's a guy shaving, it's like, okay, visually I see this is a how-to video. And then the title adds to that, shave like a real man, how real men shave, something like that. So I still think you can play with it, even if it makes sense within that niche to have both. But that, again, you could also still have how to shave in the title with how to on the thumbnail. I think that would still perform well. You can show me many examples of that. Take into account, though, that a lot of those types of videos have been around for 13 years. And they were not playing the same game that we're playing now. Those videos may have 20 million views because it's 13 years old and it's the first shaving video on YouTube that took off. So algorithmically, they're still getting millions of views because it's just, this is the video that YouTube serves. I remember when I got married, I had to learn how to tie a bow tie, and I watched one of those videos, and it was one of those things. Like that video has been up for 13 years or whatever, not 20 years, but it's been up forever, has 20 million views, and it's the video that every groom watches before they get married to tie their tie. And that's just how the algorithm works. So
we're almost at 20 years. I think the anniversary is February 14th this year.
That's amazing.
I think, from what I remember.
We have a few super chats that I don't want to lose, and then we'll go back to looking at channels, and we might get back to questions after that. But Bad Larry gave us a super chat. Thank you, Bad Larry. We have a $50 super chat from You Suck at Programming.
Goodness.
Wow. Been watching vidIQ for 4 years now. Thank you for all you do. It's helped me immensely with my channel and helping others. We appreciate you so much. You did not have to do that. Thank you. Thank you. Pierre,
I'm curious, is his channel telling his viewers that they suck at programming, or he himself sucks at programming? I'm curious.
It's a good name for a channel.
Yeah.
I think that's probably telling the viewer that, because you would want help if you felt like you sucked at programming. It does indeed look like a programming channel as well. Pierre Zones is a new member. Thank you for becoming a new member on the channel.
So everybody gets a unique sound effect when they become a member. That's I have to remember to play that every time somebody's becoming a new member.
That's great.
Roby Mindwolf gave us a super. Don't know what they're asking here, but thank you for the super chat. And then Green Machine with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. vidIQ, you guys have helped me out more than I have ever had since I've been back to making content. I'm amazed at how much I've grown at the end of last year just using your features and tools. Thank you so much. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Here to serve, pleasure to help.
So thank you so much. Let's get into some more channels here. We are going to start picking randomly from our form using what I like to call the boring picker. There are 368 folks who have put their channels on this form. So I just come up here and I click get a random number, and it goes to 269.
Can I at least do the sound effect?
Sure.
Great. You're welcome.
So they seem to be focused on music, which music channels for us are always a bit of an interesting experience.
What's the right sound effect for that? We'll do our best.
So not too many videos here. There's also some swear words and titles and things like that. Apologies.
Yeah.
What do we want to say about a channel like this? Because I feel like channels like this are just extra difficult for us.
My suggestion always is with music channels, especially when it's a new channel that not that well known or well established, is that ironically there is a need for SEO richness here. So be able to tie yourself into the specific genre that your music is about makes it a little more searchable. And perhaps including that information on the thumbnail might be appropriate as well. But I defer to David's advice potentially on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean about how this is a challenge, because like ultimately he's not really trying to be a YouTuber. He's a musician and he's using YouTube as a place to host his music. So it's kind of a different category. So my question is, do you want to get more subscribers and more views? Then be a creator. So I would just bring us along the journey of being a producer, being a musician, making my first track, how I made my first track, or lessons I learned being a producer for 5 years. I'm a 40-year-old musician, mistakes I made in my 20s, stuff like that. And then by proxy, that will then create fans of your music by creating fans of you. But you're not doing that. So I would then just have to ask, like, is that something that you'd be willing to do? In terms of like fixing thumbnails and stuff here. Again, this is very artistic. So it's just like you're picking album covers, which I understand, and like Rob said, SEO, you want to be thoughtful about that. Doing covers of popular songs is always going to get you exposure. So If you're it looks like you're kind of like a hard kind of like either rap or hard rock kind of music. Forgive me if I'm
Just the vibe
completely
I'm
off.
getting. Yeah.
If I'm completely off here, but like taking something that's inherently super happy and cheerful, poppy and positive, and turning it into a dark version with your style, that would be interesting because it's that contrast. So if you take a, you know, I don't know, Ariana Grande song and turn it into something dark, or like the Wicked, that would have been a good one, right? You take the Defying Gravity song, which was so trendy during Christmas, and then you do I made a dark rap version of Wicked. Like that's interesting.
Can I just do my rendition of that?
Yeah, let's go.
I am defying gravity. Something like that.
Yes, perfect. But that's just playing the YouTube game. Check out the YouTube Formula book by Daryl Eves. It's kind of like, I recommend everybody read that. It's kind of like the Bible on just the basics of YouTube in terms of having buckets of content and thinking about your titles and thumbnail strategies. Yeah, so, but as a musician, we're not going to be able to give you titles and thumbnail ideas that'll just instantly get you more streams. In this modern day and age, as a musician, you kind of have to play the social media game to get viewership. So, making shorts that are spoofs of popular songs or breakdowns of popular songs. Just you got to get people where they're at. Like who is your audience? So speak to them and pull them in, and then inherently they'll find your music if they like and enjoy you. But I guess you kind of have to decide if that's a strategy that you want to do at all. So
The next channel we're pulling up here is Tropic F1. They are a gaming channel. I assume focused on an F1 game or series of games, which is going to be racing.
F124. I'm seeing in the titles mostly. There is one there for the Crew Motor Fest as well, just one, but predominantly F124.
Interestingly, almost 600 views on that video. The follow-up going back to F124, less views. So that's kind of interesting that they were able to pivot a little bit outside of what even the channel name is.
Yeah.
And see some success.
I've got a question for you. Do you think these are AI generated thumbnails or like loading screens or freeze frames from the game itself?
Some of these do look like advertising, like the kind of images a game would put out there as part of their media kit.
And then I'd also say the fonts are just all over the place. There's no consistency.
There was that question that came up about branding, and I think this is a classic example of individually, I think all of these thumbnails are like 5 out of 10s, but they're all right. But in combination, you wouldn't be able to tell from one thumbnail to the next that it's from the same creator.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I'd say my notes on just in general, and I've found this over and over again with the just dozens of creators I've worked with. You might think, oh, this image of this game from the developer, the box art or whatever of the game looks so much better than the game itself, so therefore I'll just use this as my asset. Well, that's something that anybody can make. That's something that they themselves, the developers of that game, they're using that for their marketing materials. and also too, you're selling an image that isn't true. Like the video is you playing the game. It's not, you're never seeing this image at any point in the video.
Right.
So what I've found to be true time and time again is just tell the truth with your thumbnail and title of whatever's inside of that video. I say inside because it's almost like the thumbnail and title are like the box, and then you open the box and inside the box is the video. So what is let's think about Amazon. Like when you're looking to buy a product on Amazon, you probably scan through all the images, you maybe look at the reviews before you hit purchase. If you receive the object and it was black in the image and then it's orange when you receive it, even if it's the same wallet that you bought but it's orange, you're going to be mad. You're going to return it and get the black one. And it's like, Well, maybe if you actually kept the orange one and you put it in your pocket and you used it for a couple weeks, maybe you would grow to like the orange one. But the frustration of this isn't what I ordered makes you mad enough to return it and get what you wanted, and leave a complaint. In fact, you might even leave a review. You'd be so upset. It's like, I ordered a black one, I got an orange one, 1 star, right? So same is true with this. Like, what is actually in the video, find the most compelling, most interesting aspect of it, and something that's maybe mysterious or interesting within the game. Pick a font that you like, stick to that. Same color scheme. I see reds, I see yellows, I see whites, I see all sorts of, purple. Pick like 2 different colors that you like, maybe red and white, maybe yellow and white, whatever. Stick to that so it's consistent, and then pull frames from the game that are interesting and have text that adds to that story. So like, I can't believe this happened in the new F1 game, or first look at this thing, and then the text is like 500 miles per hour, or whatever. We can get in, you can study and learn thumbnail strategy, again, with the vidIQ channel here. You can get the book YouTube Formula and start to learn how to title and thumbnail things. But I would just pull from the game, if you're not going to be in it too. Is he doing picture in picture in the videos?
They're in the, yeah.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video.
Oh, cool. He has a F1 setup. He has like so that's cool. I would even include that, since you're in it. Have a shot of you sitting in your chair. I mean, that's interesting. Walk us through your chair setup. And then in terms of F1, maybe you recreate scenes from real life, like you find a famous Lewis Hamilton moment that everybody knows about. It's like recreating Lewis Hamilton's blah 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 race from 2019, or whatever. I don't know.
I like that there's like some personality here. I feel like what they should really do or consider doing for future thumbnails too is like, I think you should take a picture of a bunch of facial reactions at your setup. Like, have the steering wheel in front of you, get an angle that's like right at your face still, but you can kind of see the steering wheel in the foreground. My cat is sneezing. And you can like just get a whole take an afternoon to take pictures of your face making different reactions, because you're saying this was your best race of the season, so you could have put yourself in the thumbnail like excited. There's also ones I saw where the race didn't go as well, and so you get some reactions of you not looking as excited. And you test it with just your face, test it with the steering wheel in the foreground a little bit. Like, try some things, because I've seen a lot of F1 channels. We've audited a number of channels like this, and we don't see too many that actually are willing to do a picture-in-picture with their face cam. So because you're in it, you might be able to stand out in this niche a little bit more.
Is your cat allergic to cats?
I think it's just cat allergy season. This has been going on for a few days. If it goes on much longer, it's going to be cat vet season.
Boring cat talk.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next channel. Sorry for the cat interruption.
Oh,
I love it.
One more thing. I did notice somebody come up with this comment, which I thought was interesting. So, like, wait, so you want the thumbnails to have the same font for consistency? I guess the short answer to that is yes. Like, when we mention consistency, it's a word we use so often when we're giving out YouTube advice. Like, there are a billion ways to be consistent, and that's just another like tiny form of consistency to add to your entire YouTube strategy. So yeah, keeping a consistent font, a consistent color means that if somebody watches one of your videos and then like 2 days later they see another one of your videos on the home screen, like they instinctively know it's from that creator, so I can make a decision whether or not to watch.
Totally.
I mean,
and in fact, it removes the need to put your face in every thumbnail. It removes the need to put your logo in the thumbnail. If you have a really iconic colors palette and font choice, that can be enough to signal people. I'm thinking about like IGN does a good job of this. Nintendo Life. I'm thinking all these because I was consuming all the Nintendo stuff this morning because the new Switch was announced finally. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, I mean, you guys do that, right? You guys have the same font.
I mean, well,
we should do.
So I wanted to point out, because David, you've worked with Curtis Connor, and like most of the time he's using the same simple font, yellow, every time. But Curtis talks about a lot of different things. So this is like a good example of a channel that's just kind of talking about a lot of different subjects. And the only
Yeah.
time the font doesn't match is when it's like
The
important. Like
logo.
this is a logo. So
Mhm.
that's not being used. But then when Curtis is trying to just emphasize a point,
Mhm.
then you have this yellow italicized text in
Yes.
pretty much all the videos.
Yeah. And it's not. It looks like Helvetica, but it's not. It's a special, expensive version of Helvetica that we own.
That
But
deserves a sound effect. Hang on.
yeah, no, totally. And when I first met Curtis about a year and a half ago, when we first started working together, I asked him. I was like, "Did you create this genre of thumbnail?" Because I was thinking about it because he's been around for like 12 years or something, and he's like, "Yeah, I created the scrapbook thing, and now every commentary channel does this." So, I was like, "Well, let's own it." Like, I know other commentary channels do this now, but you really were one of the, if not the, certainly one of the first people to do it. So let's be the best ones. And so, if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see where I start. So that one, Stop Filming Strangers, that was the first one I did for him. And then the Vikings of TikTok is that one my wife was having our third baby boy, so Curtis made that one. But you can see, like, if you look below that, like, we've really been refining and cleaning it up. Those are all the ones that he was doing himself. And so I was like, let's just elevate it. So I'm constantly like trying to remove as many objects as possible without losing the scrapbook aesthetic. It's intentionally sort of amateur looking, which is my excuse for not being a good designer. But no, it works out perfectly because it does feel a little like DIY, which is perfect for his audience. The looks maxing one is one of my favorite ones, though. It's
Yeah, I was
really
gonna say.
clean and really pops. And then I used vintage technology for a week. I was very inspired by Ryan Trahan for that kind of thing. So yeah, we're using the same font. We use the same color. Although you can see I guess I'm not. I should probably memorize whatever yellow we use because it does look like it's changing a little bit every once in a while, but with the yellow. But yeah, it's that's his thing, is the yellow font. And I work with Drew Gooden now as well. And I was texting Curtis when I first started working with Drew, and like, hey, I'm gonna make Drew's blue, okay? So that way, I didn't do that latest one. He did the latest one, but you can see with the
What is going on with that latest one?
cars are getting dumber. Yeah, these comedy creators are just having so much fun. It's so much fun to work for these guys because it's hilarious to make these, you know. AI is ruining the internet. I did that one. And you can see how it still has the vibe of the commentary niche, but we've really refined it down to just the simple aspects that are the most compelling. So, and then the online gambling epidemic, I did that one. So yeah.
Quick detour there, but always fun to dissect that. So, all right, let's look at it's been a while since we did a gaming channel. All right, let's take a look
Let's do it.
at how are you on time, by the way, David?
I'm good. I think I have on my calendar for 12, right? Or my time, right? I don't remember. What did we have here? I don't remember.
I think we.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be over now. No, yeah, I'm good. We could go for a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So let's just take a look. What number did I pick? I wasn't paying any attention.
I did this yesterday, Dan, and I completely forgot what number it was. I had to
Sorry,
ask the
whoever
cat
that
to let us
was.
know.
213. Luckily, it doesn't like pop up immediately, so no one will ever know who they were. So they do want some advice on thumbnails. They are struggling with like time. They have a job and family. So let's take a look at. I'm gonna say Shano. That's my best guess.
Yeah, let's go with that.
And this is a World of Warcraft channel with almost 5,000 subscribers. Congratulations!
Nice.
373 videos. They've been at it for a while. I'm back after 8 years. So it looks like 11 years ago they started their channel, and they're making a comeback whenever this was written. Recently as to when this was written. So probably they've been at it for a few years since coming back. My first impressions is I'm actually liking these quite a bit. the latest one's a little
Mhm.
bit of a departure, but they like I've seen well I've so as a someone who's played games like this myself, when I look up guides on how to make a good character build, these feel consistent with the
Mhm.
types of thumbnails and stuff I see in that category.
Mm.
And I'm very bad at these games, so I am looking up a lot of these videos because I'm terrible. So I already like I think I will say the transformation from these videos already to the last 3, something's already changed, that you can tell they're experimenting, and I
Mhm.
do prefer the latest thumbnails myself over what, what was happening over here. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
talk about the font, we were just talking about that, and they did pick a font and color scheme with these latest ones that are consistent, so
I have a question about including the game logo.
Mm.
They have it pretty prominently in all of the thumbnails, but it does almost feel at this point that it's now a part of their branding. That
Mhm.
gaming logo with that font and color, there
Mm.
seems to be like a consistency there.
Yeah.
But should we
Well
include it or not, or should we make the
It
character or a stat or an
Mhm.
object from the game the
Mhm.
more prominent thing?
I will say for World of Warcraft, the relevancy here, you'll notice it changes to Season of Discovery. It's because World of Warcraft is like when they have like a big update, for example,
Yeah,
they'll
yeah,
kind of like label that, and
yeah.
they're trying to differentiate these and let people know this is the classic anniversary edition we're looking at.
Okay.
This is World of Warcraft Classic Season of Discovery. Like, so I think they are trying to make it clear to the viewer. And I don't know if you have to do it this way. I'm not defending it from that aspect, but I am saying that I get why they're doing it, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Okay.
This one
Um,
was a big outlier, so it just kind of caught me off guard because I'm just like, whoa.
yeah. So I think they're just a little messy. I think,
Mm,
just focusing on one thing I would maybe I can see the reason why you keep the World Warcraft logo there, because it's instant. There's so many different mythological games, and World of Warcraft is such a popular, game, that makes sense, I guess, to keep that top left. Um, I would love to just see compelling frames from the game or from that video, just really clean and focused in on that character. I feel like as humans, we're gonna connect with the eyes, with emotion, with movement. So if it's a warrior with an axe and he's got like a big movement, that's going to be compelling to look at. So removing all this text and just having the logo with a compelling moment, maybe a very simple piece of text with your branding with the yellow and the blue of like, can't believe this or brand new, whatever. Um, yeah, because it does seem like you're getting views because this is a great niche to be in. There's a lot of fans of this thing, and so they're probably enjoying the content. So that tells me that the videos are good and that people are watching the videos, even with thumbnails that aren't fully optimized. So that just means that these are the types of creators that I love working with because it's like, hey, you're getting good views already. Your videos are great. Let's just fix the thumbnails because that's only going to like change your viewership even more. So I would just start to really just study thumbnails, just figure out how to make good thumbnails, study other creators in your niche that are great, but then outside of your niche, using the outlier tools like we talked about with vidIQ, joining in on Thumbnail Thursday, looking at other thumbnail designers, seeing what they're doing. Just start to study thumbnails and figure out how to make good thumbnails. I mean, that's what you're here to do. But those are my tips in terms of like what I would do. I would just remove some of the clutter and focus in on a compelling moment from that game,
mm.
specifically on the subjects, the human elements, or whatever the mythological creatures are. Just because I think people are gonna respond to that emotion.
This raises an interesting question, David, because what you're suggesting is quite a departure from how the thumbnails look like now. And
You're
so
right.
obviously at this point, we'd suggest we'll use A/B thumbnail testing YouTube tool. But I'm curious if you have any thoughts or opinions on that specific tool, as
Mm,
now we're a year into this.
mhm.
There are opposing views where some people think it like can have a really detrimental impact
Mm.
on how the video is perceived, whereas
Yeah,
others are saying, well, it just works, let's try it and test out some stuff. How have you
sure.
found it?
Yeah, so we're using what Daryl Eves has told us to do, which is you run a thumbnail for the first 72 hours that just one that you know is like the one for your audience that your audience will respond to best. So in the case of like Curtis Connor, for example, since we were just showing that, his videos have always had this very commentary niche scrapbook style. So we'll
Yeah.
start with that one, but then we'll maybe have other ones that are more simple, like the looks maxing one that we were talking about, or just other ideas that are outside of that commentary niche. And then we'll run that after the 72 hours has elapsed. We kind of exhausted his core fan base after 2 or 3 days. Then you run
Right.
your A/B tests that then
Gotcha.
sends it out. That then sends it out to potential new viewers, or kind of like halfway viewers, people that have seen him occasionally. Maybe this different thumbnail that we have may pull somebody in that wouldn't have been pulled in by the original. And then after that's over, we'll just Curtis will then just creatively decide which one he likes. He doesn't even care about like the metrics after that. It's like, well, okay, sure, we got some more viewers from these other thumbnails, but I like the original one, so we're just gonna switch it. Like, so I think there's value in that too. Like, just being, so what if you're leaving views on the table if you feel like this is an aesthetic that you like and it's artistic integrity? Like, there's nothing wrong with that either, to be honest. But if your only goal is to get views, which Mr. Beast, that's his only goal, he's always like constantly optimizing and fixing and tweaking, and that can be overwhelming when you listen to those people. I'll just say, coming from working with Curtis and these guys who they just have an idea of what they like. It's just like, at the end of the day, so what if it's like 2 or 3% better with this other one? I like this thumbnail better as the creator, so I'm going to pick this one, like, so.
I'm
Do you think
curious.
do you think Tarantino thinks about the aesthetic of his films when he makes them? He
Mm.
makes it, but depending on the audience's reaction, he makes it for what he wants.
I'm curious. So you implement a test after 72 hours. If
Mhm.
after like 3 or 4 videos of doing this test, there's a certain type of style after 72 hours that proves statistically significant, would you then adopt that thumbnail into like the first 72
Yeah.
hours thumbnail? Okay.
Good question. Yes, and we have. Yeah,
Right.
I have a free asset on my website, learnthumbnails.com, called the spiral asset, and it's just a little black spiral. Yeah, free swirly assets. If you click that, hit the download, you'll see just click that, it'll take you to a page where you can see like all these thumbnails that I've used the swirl on.
Yeah.
We have found over and over throwing a swirl on the thumbnail works really well. Like big time, like 10-20% more. And so if you look at Curtis's thumbnails, there's like 3 or 4 with a subtle swirl in them. So like, look, there's the faceless YouTube channel. There's a swirl in the background of that. If you look at pointless AI products, there's a swirl there.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the conspiracy one, of course, that one, like the conspiracy one, I did the traditional, very kind of messy, chaotic scrapbook style. And then I made that one in 15 minutes. Obviously, it's very simple thumbnail. And that one performed like way better. Like we're talking 65% click through on that one. So, so therefore we have started to, that's actually not showing all of them. There was
because the test changed at some point.
Yeah. So, but I have found just over and over especially with these creators, simplicity just works. That clean, just Curtis in the middle. It's a bit of a bold thing to do. It takes confidence in your idea to be that simple.
Yeah.
And maybe it works because this guy has 5 million subs and he kind of has the authority to do so. But if your idea is solid enough and your thumbnail is clean enough and it tells that story well, I think there's power in being so simple. The Japanese are like, they have a term for it. I forget what it is, but the Japanese just are constantly trying to refine and simplify, engineering when it comes to you know, I'm a watch nerd, and I know there's like Seiko, Grand Seiko, like that's one of their core philosophies is how can we remove things until it is as simple as possible. Jerry Seinfeld has a quote when he's talking about writing his jokes that he writes a joke and then he takes one word out at a time until the joke doesn't make sense anymore, and then he puts that last word back in. And I think that is a great way to think about your thumbnail strategy. Like, how many elements can I remove with this still making sense? Okay, now it doesn't make sense anymore. Let me put that back in.
Yeah.
You know?
I do feel like that is the perfect piece of advice to conclude on, because we've been at it for an hour and a half.
Man, I can't believe it. I could
Yeah.
go on for hours.
I know the channel reviews tend to do that.
Well, we can just leave, Dev, and you can just carry on until you're done.
Absolutely right. Yeah,
Hey, you guys are like, hey, we got things to do. I do too. I have a lot of work to do. So,
thank you so much for your time and the value
my
provided
pleasure.
today. By the way, everybody, again, 25% off vidIQ and our Boost tools for life. That's going on right now in the description below. If you've been thinking these vidIQ tools are great, but I want all the access to all the tools, then now is the time to be picking that up so you can kick off 2025 and beyond the right way. David, you are live tonight on Twitter, X,
on X. Yeah, and then I do have a YouTube channel with the same username, DVD Altizer. It's like a DVD disc. So check it out. I'll be posting a video. Actually, when this is over, I'll be posting a video. So you'll be seeing that. It's a Curtis Connor thumbnail breakdown on how I made a thumbnail for Curtis with over 4 million views. So, yeah, so check out my YouTube channel and follow me on X. I'm not active at all on Instagram, so don't even follow me there, please.
David's website's linked below, and all of the links to David's other social media platforms are on the website, and you can also sign up for the thumbnail course and get reminded about that. So thank you so much for David. And we'll all just kind of wave awkwardly as I click the end stream button and nothing happens on our end for a minute.
Bye, everybody. Stay warm. It's going to be cold here coming up in America.
Do make sure, everybody, tomorrow, tune in again for the final day. I'm just going to say it's going to be a big one. Leave it at that.
Very, very big.
Ooh, can't wait.
See everybody.
Bye.